This is an Hot Wheels car. This car was designed in 1967 and sold from 1968 at about $1. Today, this car can worth up to $50–70. Pretty cool, huh? If you're into Hot Wheels, you probably know that finding an Hot Wheels like that nowadays, it is pretty rare and pretty expensive. Unfortunately, when looking to this car, you'll always have to deal with two things. First one, you're going to find broken parts and unvaluable cars. And second one, you're going to find restored cars sold as real ones. So, how can you find the real gems? Today we are going to take a look at three major points to understand if a car it is real or not. These points are taking a look at the base, the paint, and the rims. This will probably not always allow you to understand if a car it is real, whether it's restored, but will for sure allow you to understand better if something it is quite real or it is not. Point number one. One of the most important things when looking at something like this is taking a look at the base. We have always to remember that between 1968 and 1977 circa, Hot Wheels produced its car both in Hong Kong as well as USA. How can you understand if a car was produced in Hong Kong rather than USA? This car was produced in Hong Kong, and you can understand it because of the 4 square holes. Also, it does say Hong Kong right here on the base. If a car was produced in USA, this is what you're going to see. You can understand that the two bases are pretty different. When someone tries to replace the original base as well as the original wheels, they're always going to try to drill down these little rivets right here. So, if you see that the drills were replaced and seems to be too new, that car was probably restored and probably the axles and the wheels were changed. Point number 2. Trying to understand if the car was repainted or not. It may be very hard to understand. Actually, if a car was repainted, you're going to see a very new shiny paint job that will not matches with the old style, classic style of the original 1968, 1969 and such Hot Wheels. You have to remember that the first Hot Wheels were not produced with fancy paints. In fact, the paints were common paints that you were able also to find in little shops. Typically, the Spectra Flame paint is super shiny and quite chrome. Sometimes you can find overchromed cars in which the Spectra Flame and all the little shiny things that are inside the paints were not able to see, like this one. Point number 3. A very important thing when taking a look at these cars is the fact that the wheels needs to matches with the car. You have to remember that during the year, Mattel may reproduce some of the original castings with an all-new tool. You have to remember that these wheels were not perfectly cut, and sometimes you can find crips or other kind of minor problems with the wheels. Taking a look at them, you are going to instantly understand if a car is real rather than was replaced or a reproduction. So let's recap these very important points. Point number 1, take a look at the base. It needs to be like this or like this. Number 2, the paint needs to be correct. You can easily see if a car was repainted rather than not. Cars like this are real and not repainted, as you can tell. Point number 3, one of the most important, wheels. So guys, thanks for joining me in this little video. I hope you had a great time in watching it as much as I had in making it. I tried to make this as clear as possible, and if you have other infos and you want to see more stuff like that in the next days and weeks, just let me know in the comments down. As always, thanks for watching, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.